So welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. This week, as promised, I said I'd be talking about astrology and pain. And I'm this week talking specifically about Saturn. And of the planets, in my professional opinion, Saturn causes the wrong word, reflects the most amount of pain with a person. And we learned in earlier lessons what Saturn is. Saturn is the planet of responsibility, authority, and do the right thing. And depending on where it's located in your chart is an indicator of how you respond to accepting responsibility for things, being a responsible person, that type of stuff. Saturn in health rules the bones and the skeletal structure because it has an affinity with the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn is also associated with bones and the skeleton, etc. Now in this part of because this is a few videos, in this particular video we're going to be discussing a young lady, and we're going to be calling her Debbie. And Debbie is an Aries, and this is her chart. So here we have the chart for Debbie, and there's her sun sign, so that's the symbol for the sun in the sign of Aries. And as you can see, this chappie here is Saturn, and when she was born, Saturn was very, very near to her sun sign and also her moon sign. If we look at the maths here, so sun is 8 degrees, moon is 14 degrees, and Saturn is 14 degrees. So her moon is, 14 degrees, Aries 29 minutes. She definitely has moon conjunct Saturn. So this is a person that will have a deep understanding of life's responsibilities. Okay, so this is the moon's how you feel. Saturn is the planet of responsibility. Ping, they're very close together. So this is someone that emotionally could feel quite restricted, because Saturn is the planet of restriction. But in the sign of Aries, it's a cardinal sign, a leadership sign. So they're more likely to be the older sister type of thing that will accept responsibility for everybody else's feelings in the family. Now, not only does she have that, I think, where's her Mars? No, Mars is out of sign. And Venus, I think, is conjunct. No, Venus is in Pisces. So these are out of sign. So we need to be concentrating on these three chappies here. So as this is a video about astrology and pain, and I've also recorded it as a podcast, so if you do want to watch the video, I'll put the link on my podcast page, which is I'll give you the address of, because I can't remember it off the top of my head in a minute, but I'll add it onto my podcast web page. So now this particular person has given me some information about their pain. So here we go. Great idea, because I explained that I was going to be doing a video about pain. She says, I have the chronic pain with fibromyalgia. I'm not taking any doctor prescribed meds. I've adjusted my vitamins, minerals and herbals to help me live a normal life. I would love to help if I can. So born March, at 11:30 a.m. Pain started 5 months after major back surgery. Kind of hard to pin that one down because I wasn't sure what the pain was from. I guess around December 2012. I had level 3 lumbar fusion, 8 titanium screws and 2 titanium plates with 3 carbon fibre disc replacements. Yes, a humdinger. So I asked her when the pain actually started. She said that was hard to tell because I was still recovering from back surgery. That was on 14th of June 2012. So we need to look at that date, 14th of June 2012, and you also need to look at December 2012 to what's going on. But the bone and muscle pain started shortly after. Reason for the op? Oh yes, disc degeneration, some arthritis included. Right now, I asked her what her pain levels are. She said it runs between 3 and 4, 10 being high and 0 being low. I've learned to live with it and take lots of naps. Ha! The pain is very sensitive to barometric pressure. It gets bad right before weather arrives, about 12 hours before, just before it happens. After it happens, I'm back to normal. I can predict the weather better than our weatherman. Ha! I remember when I was in Kuwait, I could predict her boob 12 hours before it arrived. That was my ears plugging up because of the pressure change. So this is somebody that's sensitive. We have to remember with fibromyalgia, these are people that are sensitive, naturally sensitive within themselves, because it's not an easy condition to describe, understand, or be able to treat. So we've got sensitivity in there. Okay. Now, because of the fact that she was born with Sun and Moon conjunct, and this video is about Saturn and how it reflects pain, we need to think about what might have triggered that off for her when she wasn't born with this pain. Now, it would be a completely different matter if we're talking about somebody who was born in a state of pain. Yeah? So this is where the planets were when she was born, and what we're going to be watching out for is the outer planets. So we've got Pluto and Uranus and Neptune, so these chappies here. And in astrology, what happens is they go around like this, anti-clockwise. I'll just demonstrate. So there's the moon, okay, so on the date that we're using here. So if I move the moon, bum ba dum ba dum ba dum, and the moon goes around. That's basically, that's a quick explanation of how it works. Now, this is, so I've put her planets for when she was born. She's got ascendant in Cancer. Again, that's a sensitive sign. She's got two planets here in Pisces, her Mercury in Pisces. And on a previous video, I've talked about when your sun sign is a different sign from your Mercury, it can be a little bit more difficult for you to explain how you feel. And Pisces is a sensitive sign. So we've got Venus and Mercury in Pisces. Cancer ascendant. So a lot of water there, even though she's in Aries, which is a fire sign. And I think her Jupiter's in Leo as well, so she's got a fair bit of fire in her chart. Not a vast amount of Earth. We've only got Uranus and Pluto, those outer planets in Earth, and Earth is the practical down-to-earth planet that will help in conditions where you've got something going on with your bones. Yeah. So 14th of June 2012 was the date that she had the operation. So let's do the date of the operation. Now, this is where the planets were when they're born. See this fella here. So if I go back in time, so we go back to the year that she was born, which I can show you, which I can't show you because this is patient confidential. I won't do that, but we'll just assume that Uranus was over here in the sign of Virgo when she was born, and it's travelled all the way around here, like that, and it's now 2012. Uranus was here. It's now up there. in the sign of Aries, and look, it's right slap bang on her own natal Saturn. Okay. In addition, oops, let me go back to the exact date here. 14th of June. That's the date of the operation. See this down here? There's Saturn. So Saturn is now in opposition to Saturn. I don't know if that year whether or not it goes retrograde. Probably might. No, it goes forwards. We're okay. It's not fun when Saturn goes retrograde. So sorry, going back to the 6th. Let's talk English, Mary. Okay. So the date that she had the operation, the moon was just going into the sign of Taurus. It had been in Aries all day, so she might have felt pretty emotional on the day that happened. Maybe she was feeling a sense of relief because there's the hope that the operation was going to be successful. But we can see now that her natal planets are being triggered off by Uranus, and this would have started a little bit earlier than that. Uranus went into the sign of Aries round about 2010. Along with Jupiter, it's a nice planet. But by the time we get to 2012 now, it's right, as I say, slap bang on her Saturn. So it's not that Saturn has triggered something, but Uranus has triggered her own Saturn-Moon conjunction. So it's given her a wake-up call. This is your responsibilities. What do you need to do about it? Do you need to stand up? Because anything to do with bones and stuff is about standing up for yourself, that type of stuff. Yeah. Now she said the pain didn't sort of start or become noticeable whatever until December. So let's go to December. Moving the computer forwards now. We've got a whole heap of planets over here. Saturn's now moved into the sign of Scorpio, but sorry, Uranus is still up there, and it's gone a little bit retrograde. It's now got a little bit nearer to her sun sign. So if I move that computer back, so there he is. Let me go backwards. Okay, because the planets are supposed to be going this direction, but Uranus, watch him now. There he is. We're moving month by month. There, we get to September, Uranus is now retrograding. Yeah, so not only did she have this happen, but she's getting all the aggravation of Uranus. Uranus is the planet of sudden change and transformation. So this is a time that she would really knocked home for her quite a lot of stuff. Now, what else has she told me? Any other dates I've got here? I don't have any other dates, but she has chronic pain. Okay, so when something is chronic, it's very debilitating. And what we've got here now, in 2012, we've got Neptune has started to transit. Okay, so that's if we go forwards to today, so we're 2017, and I'm having let me go back. We are August, and we're the 13th today because Mercury's flipping retrograde. Neptune is now slap bang onto her Mercury. Not that that's a bad thing, because that allows us, she's very psychic, this particular lady, I hasten to point out. Luckily, Uranus has finished its transit, so if I was treating her, she's not a patient of mine, but were I treating her, I'd say your troubles will be over once Uranus comes out of the sign of Aries, because that erratic energy that was causing you not to be able to relax, not to be able to settle, not to be able to comfort yourself, will have moved into the sign of Taurus by 2018. So we get to the end of this year, beginning of next year. Let me move the computer forwards. It does another little retrograde, bump, and then we get into next year, and around about April next year, it's out of the sign of Aries. So she will never have this happen again. This is an 80-year cycle for Uranus going round. What she does need to do is to learn more techniques, and I'd probably recommend a flower essence for her, something like Mimulus or Impatiens. They're good. Mimulus is good for it's the one that governs Capricorn, because this is sort of a Capricorn type of energy here. And Impatiens, which is the sign for Aries, because she'll be impatient with herself and impatient for her recovery. So that's just a teeny little demonstration visually. Gosh, I hope this works. Visually for someone's birth chart, astrology and pain. Saturn already in existence within this person. Saturn is very, very conjunct to the moon. The moon's how you feel. Saturn's about responsibility. So her sun sign's part of that, but it's nearer to her moon. And as we've seen here, that's slap bang conjunct. So she needs to help herself by understanding more about what Saturn represents. She doesn't have to suffer. I continue to tell people, please don't suffer. Okay, you can blame the planet if you want to, but don't allow that suffering. Don't take it within. So there we go. That's just a little demonstration for this particular lady and her pain.